Okay, this is a simple but really nice concept for any stage in your leadership journey, wherever you are on that leadership journey. And it's part of what I see as being the continual elevation in your role that's necessary as a leader in order to continue to have greater and greater impact. And very simply, we frame it as thinking like the leader that you report into. So typically what happens, let's say you're a chief over here, and you've got a whole lot of leaders reporting into you with their various functions. And everyone wants to do a great job. Everyone's performance focused. And so you've given them, each of your leaders, a role, and they become very focused on performing in their domain within your broader function. And that's great, but the reality is that a lot of the work that we're being tasked with sits across multiple functions. And one of the challenges that we all have is to get our teams working more cross-functionally, to be thinking more cross-functionally. And there are lots of reasons why people will tend to stay in their own lane. And a lot of it is to do with anxiety about our own performance. We want to do really well, and so we tend to focus very much in our own lane. But like we say, so much work demands more cross-functional thinking, more cross-functional work. And so an easy way to start to unlock that is to say to these leaders, think like a chief, think like your chief. See the world through your chief's eyes, from their perspective. And you're going to very quickly start to understand that what you're being tasked with is not just to perform in your lane, but is to deliver on these sort of multifunctional projects, these multifunctional missions. And so that starts to get people out of this kind of single lane thinking and into this more cross-functional thinking when they start to see the world through the eyes of their chief. But equally, for chiefs, they can tend to be thinking very much in the silo of their function. And they want to protect their function. They want their function to do really well and to perform. And that can lead to kind of territorial and protectionist type behavior or siloed thinking. But of course, there's more than one chief. There's lots of chiefs. And each of them have got lots of leaders reporting into them. Okay? And the risk is that they each are operating in quite a siloed way, thinking about their domain, wanting their function to perform well, which is great. But again, a lot of the work we're being tasked with sits cross-functionally. It demands cross-functional engagement and interaction and interconnection. So the opportunity there is for the chiefs to start thinking like the CEO. Think like the CEO, because how does it look from the CEO's perspective? The CEO isn't just thinking, I want your function to operate well. The CEO is thinking, these are the missions that we've got across the business, and I want those missions to succeed. And when you start to think of it like that, it becomes less important that a single chief is excelling, and much more important that all the chiefs are working together to deliver on the mission. So again, the simple unlock is, as a chief, start getting into the headspace of the CEO. And then it becomes less about how am I winning and much more about how are we collectively delivering on the mission. It's kind of simple, not always easy, but very simple. And in fact, just beginning to challenge yourself to think like a CEO or think like the chief will start to unlock that more cross-functional perspective.